信じるわ、宇宙人。
自分も幽霊信じます。
So with the fall season getting ready to come to an end and winter around the corner with some good sequels and some big new hits that are going to be returning, it's time for us to catch you up on some of the new anime that you might have missed from this past season, man. So keep in mind, this isn't going to be any sequels, and this is going to be only things that, we actually watched from the past season, man. But let me know in the comments if you actually end up watching one of the animes that I recommend in this video. And today's anime question is going to be, man, what is your favorite anime from fall 2024, man? Sequels are fine too. Let me know in the comments. I like to talk about it with y'all. But if there's anything you might be interested in, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things, and let's go ahead and hop into this list. So the first one on the list is going to be Blue Box.
俺には毎朝一番に会いたい人がいる。会いたい人が。
And this one follows the story of two high schoolers, Taiki and also Chinatsu, and there's also some other characters, but this basically follows their grind and trying to get up and become good in their respective sports, with Chinatsu being a pretty good player on the basketball team who's trying to shoot for nationals, with Taiki having a crush on Chinatsu and wanting to also push past his limits to be good in badminton and also maybe eventually pursue a love with Chinatsu. This story is a little bit different in the sense that it's a romance that also focuses on sports and shows, different things and how you get good in the perspective sports. With me not really having much knowledge about badminton, it was actually pretty cool seeing some of the things of how he got better at the game and seeing how different skills can help him improve, all while also having other characters with their own underlying stories that connect them and bring them into the plot. While I do think the main character lacks a little bit in some ways, and you could say that the two main protagonists and the love interests have a little bit too much in common, I think this story does have some things that you can latch onto, and also you can just get into the sports aspect, especially when you mix it with romance. So if you're looking for a sports romance it's going to give you a nice story with some other engaging characters, I recommend you give this show a try.
大輝くんなら大丈夫だよ。
好きな人の言葉はこんなに簡単に信じれる。
The next one is going to be one that's very niche, but it's going to be Orb on the movements of the earth.
誤解に背く異端思想とされる研究の資料をどこに隠しましたか?
And this one follows the story of Raphael, an up-and-coming scholar who has an interest in the cosmos, but in the world that he's in the past, the church runs everything, and according to the church, the earth is the center of the universe and everything revolves around it. Raphael soon finds out that this isn't true, and that actually the sun is the center of the universe, and actually the earth and all the planets revolve around it. But this isn't something that's going to be easy for him to prove, and this isn't something that's going to come without consequences. The church does whatever they can to keep anything quiet, and anything that goes against what the church says is blasphemy, and it's something that can be punished up to death. And in this story, you get to see Raphael and some of the other characters try to navigate their ways to proving this theory of the universe actually being correct. This story is pretty good, it's really thrilling, and it's something that's a little bit niche, but it definitely caught me off guard. So you're even a little bit interested in seeing a thriller and also some things that has a little bit of gore, I recommend you give this show a try because it definitely will have you at the edge of your seat. But I definitely recommend you try out Orb on the movements of the earth. The next one is going to be Negative Positive Angular.
あと2年。
このままですと残念ながら。
And this one follows Tsunehiro, just a young man who eventually gets diagnosed with an illness that says that he only has 2 years left to live. In his life, he pretty much didn't have anything that really wanted to make him want to live. And the fact that he was also in thousands of dollars in debt, and he had no foreseen future after he knew that his life was going to end in 2 years. Shortly after trying to commit suicide, he ends up running into a group of people that have one common goal and one common hobby, and that's fishing. This story follows Tsunehiro coming into contact with this group and finding a reason to live and finding a reason to move on and also learn from his past mistakes and try to become a better person in the future. This show is very heartwarming, and it shows you some things that you maybe didn't know about fishing, and maybe if you're interested in fishing, you can maybe notice some things from this show. I definitely recommend you want to try this one out if you want to just see something that's a little bit different with a different change of pace, and keep in mind that there might be some reveals that might make you sad towards the end. But if you want to see something that's a little bit niche and a little bit different from what you normally see, I recommend you try out Negative Positive Angular.
だったらここからやり直そうぜ。ね。やるか?
The next one on the list is going to be Yaka Fianc.
ヤクザみたい。
And as the title says, this one is about, yes, two people getting together that have ties to the Yakuza. This one follows Yoshino and Kirishima, who are basically set to be married off of the decisions of their grandfather. But the one thing with this marriage is that Yoshino has absolutely no interest in Kirishima, and Kirishima is actually kind of psychotic. But eventually he ends up falling for Yoshino, and his goal is to get her to fall in love with him, while her goal is the exact opposite. She has to do her time in Tokyo for 1 year before trying to move back to Osaka to get rid of this marriage. And this story basically just follows their interactions, also with some other underlying issues going on in the Yakuza world of this story. It's funny, there's a lot of quirky characters, there's a little bit of action, and you also can just love the personality of the main character, Yoshino. But if you want to see something with some Yakuza action, some engaging characters, and an interesting world that'll make you laugh almost every episode, I definitely recommend you give this show a try. The next one's going to be If My Wife Became an Elementary School Student.
ただいま。
どこか他の家とも。
間違えてないわよ。
And I know this one with the title is very misleading, but hold up, just pause a second. And this one follows the story of the Nijimas, with Keisuke and Mai adjusting to losing their mom/wife for both of the characters. But miraculously, Takae ends up getting reincarnated into another girl's body, and she ends up encountering her family and trying to find ways to help them move on and better their lives and actually move forward in life. But there's also some other reveals down the line, with all these characters having their own issues going on in their world at this point in time. The show is very sad, but it also has some very heartwarming moments and some good lessons to learn about moving on and accepting things as how they are and trying to make the most of what you have with your circumstances. If you want to see something that has a good story and that shows some good character development and characters going through real life issues, I definitely recommend you give this one a try. And with the way things are set up, you already know that there's going to be an ending that's going to leave you in the waterworks.
私が好きね。
気づいてなかったのかい？
知ってた。前から。
The next one's going to be Nina the Starry Bride. This is the first time we really have one like this on our list.
目の青。まっすぐな。その瞳が見てるのは。
But this one follows Nina, an orphan that lives in the fantasy land of Fortuna, after she's discovered by a prince named Prince Azure. Her unusual blue eyes bear a similarity to the deceased princess Alicia, who was due to be married off to a powerful neighboring country, Golgotha. Thus, Prince Azure hatches a plot to have Nina take Prince Alicia's place, but the two become drawn to each other. And this ends up causing a lot of other issues with them falling in love with each other, but with Nina still getting sold off to the other country, and also in interacting with another character. And this one has a lot of different aspects that makes the story more interesting, with some corruption and also some betrayal from the royal family and some other things to add in some spice besides just being a character with one girl split between two guys from two neighboring countries. That's not only what this story is. But if you want to see something that's a little bit set in a little bit of a Victorian area in the past that has some deception and also a main character just trying to find her way to navigate through a whole lot of issues, I recommend you give Nina the Starry Bride a good chance.
待ってろって言ったよな。これはもう俺のものだ。ニナ。
And the last one on our list is going to be Dun Dun. Yes, you knew this was going to be on here.
そんなざりごと言うねえぜ。小学生。
And this one follows Momo Ayase and also Ken Takakura, or we can say Okarun. And this story follows the interaction between Momo and Okarun, with Okarun believing in aliens and Momo believing in ghosts. Momo being the standoffish cool girl who also could empathize with others, and with Okarun being the guy who had no friends in school. One day Momo actually defends Okarun from his bully, and they end up making a bet. Momo doesn't believe in aliens and Okarun doesn't believe in ghosts. So they make a bet to go to a haunted place where they have ghosts and to go to a place where aliens are known to show up. They end up both encountering what they didn't believe in, and in the process, Okarun ends up losing his balls. This story is about Okarun getting his balls back and also other interactions. There's a lot of things that happen in this story. This story is extremely wacky and crazy, and Science Saru did a very good job of actually bringing this from the manga into an actual anime form. If you like something that's completely unhinged and with every episode just giving you something completely crazy, and the arcs are not that long, each arc is roughly around 2 to 3 episodes, at least in the first season. Things do get a little bit longer later on, but if you like to see an anime where the main protagonists interact with a whole bunch of different characters, this is definitely the type of show for you. And if you also enjoyed something like Mob Psycho, I kind of say this is the closest thing that you can actually compare to Dun Dun with the wackiness and also the goofiness of the animation. This one has great characters, some romance, some interesting villains, and also just a killer soundtrack. So if you want to see something that's going to maybe make you feel a little bit unhinged, I definitely recommend you try out Dun Dun. And that's going to be the end of our list for fall, man. Let me know in the comments if you actually end up watching some of these animes that I recommend to you, and let me know if I actually missed anything. Like I said, we only put things on here that didn't have any sequels, and we only put stuff that we actually got to watch. But I hope y'all enjoyed these animes that I recommend to y'all, and hey man, I'm gonna see y'all in the next video, man. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. We up.